I've made an RBOX sculpture here. I'm just going to show you how to make a simple RBOX and change the color, and then you can take it from there. It's going to take 2 minutes. So I go Alt-E. I bring up my editor, okay? And I bring up my grid by pushing G. Then I right-click to get to the center of the grid. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit by pushing Z. Okay. Now I'm going to make an RBOX. I have to create a new domain, right-click on an existing domain. And when you add the new one, it takes on the properties of that domain. Okay. So then you hit Add. Now I've added the properties of that domain. Cement walls, 32 high and 0 and ceiling at 32. It is an RBOX, okay? So if I'm on an RBOX and then I hit Add, I'm creating another RBOX. That's the only thing you kind of need to know. You can change these parameters later, and you can also change the ID name. So I'm going to go ahead and make the walls before I do the changing. So I'm going to go over to the walls. This is just the sequence that I work. I create the new one. I go over to the walls. Now I make sure that a wall is selected because I'm going to bring the traits of that wall with me, which means the texture, pretty much. And then I'm going to left-click once on one of the grid buttons. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to left-click again, and then I right-click to seal it because I'm going to come over and I'm going to change the dimensions of that front of that domain is going to be the new domain that I've created. Now I forget which was my new domain. So let's go back to domains, left click on the carousel, left click on the domain. Okay, so I am in domain 6, okay? Back over to walls. I'm going to make this front of this domain number 6. Okay, this will all come with practice. Now I've made that first, I know the properties of it, stucco, it's 6. And so I've got that wall selected. Now I'll create my next walls. I left click, drag, left click, and left click again, drag, left click again, drag. I'm always building clockwise. I right click to seal it off. Now the reason that I go back to domains is because I want to verify that I got all my corners correct. I joined all the corners. I go back to domains and now I can verify that that domain is indeed correct, because if I right click on it, I can move it around. Okay, so that's kind of why I work this way. Then I go ahead, I change the ceiling height. Let's just say 128. That's always a good number to work in, 128. And I'm going to call this sculpture 5, or I'll call it 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll call it sculpture 5. Sculpture 5, enter. Okay, when I'm putting in these ID names, I always use capitals, by the way. Okay, it looks like I've got my new domain. It's named Sculpture 5, 128, got my textures. I hit save, enter, load, enter, and then Alt-E. Okay, where is it? Oh, okay, I'll keep it in my frame. I go Alt F6, and then I bring up region. I make region yellow. I go up, I make next to name yellow, and I'm CUL5, enter. Now I just use a WWCW color. Yes, I'm going to scroll that up. Okay. And now I'm going to just make it green. I'm going to make it blue, or I'm going to make it red. Let's try red, a little bit of green, and maybe just a little less blue. Okay, so we got That's kind of a nice color. So we make sure that we save now. We left click on the now button. I have made an RBOX and I escape to get out of that editor right there, and you can see that now it can be part of my sculpture. Let's go to Alt-E just as a final kind of bonus round. I'm going to go to Domains. I'm going to X out a little bit. I'm going to right click that in, and let's put it, no, I kind of like where we had it. Let's put it right there. What I do with these sculptures is I make sure none of the lines are overlapping, okay? And now let's just change the walls, go to the walls, right click and drag that wall in. There you go. That's kind of cool. So I also like to work from the way it looks on the BlueLine. It kind of gets a certain feel and a look on the BlueLine. Of course, you never know the height, so that's the variable, but a few of them. So we do save, enter, load, enter, and now we do Alt-E, and let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so that's kind of fun, right? I mean, it's pretty cool. It's all right. And then, of course, you can go and take a screenshot of it from a certain angle. You can run around here and do a screenshot, which is F4. Okay, so if I wanted to, let's fly a little bit. Let's go F11 and then fly on. Enter, let's tab up a little here. And then we'll take a screenshot. So I'm tabbing, and I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to tab a little bit more, kind of get the whole thing here, and then F4. So hopefully I got a screenshot of that, which shows the whole sculpture. All right, those are the basics for building an RBOX sculpture, the first lesson. And the second lesson, first lesson of creating a room, and second lesson of creating the art.